I'm a start this. Hey, what's going on, Black Speakers Network family? Super excited to join us for another, or have you join us for yet another Speakers Magazine cover reveal. Where's my title? There it is. Speakers Magazine, November 2021 issue. I am Brian Oles. We got Sierra Black in the building. Pam Perry is
Yes.
on her way. What's going on, Sierra? How are you?
Good afternoon. Yes, we have Dr. Cheryl Wood on November issue speaker cover. I am doing fantastic, Brian. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm really energized coming fresh off the heels of SpeakerCon. I
Uh-huh.
was telling you guys in the green room, I think this was my only kind of like in-person conference the entire year. And
Mm-hmm.
not only that, it was also just an incredible event. I mean, I have the guide here that they gave away at the gate. Like just see like just the conference guide. Like look how luxurious.
Impeccable. Impeccable. How was the keynote speaker, Trent?
All right, so let me tell you about the boy Trent. Trent
Okay.
Shelton.
Yes.
That was actually my first time hearing him speak,
Okay.
and he was dynamic. He actually is, I can see why so many people resonate with his message overall because he has this way of kind of weaving in really dynamic stories but also just kind of bringing people into like the experience and
Mm-hmm.
leaving you with some actual tangible things to think about. So I thought Trent was outstanding. We had several Black Speakers Network members who walked away with awards, including Ms. Altavis Pelzer walked away with the Rising Speaker Award. We had a surprise award winner, Taria Avant, who got like Collaborator of the Year.
Yes.
It was just outstanding. And so many friends, so many people. I'm just looking through Sean Fair. I got a chance to meet him. I know
Yeah.
y'all get a chance to hang out up in Detroit. And he won Speaker of the Year or Leadership Speaker of the Year, which was great. And then we also had who was one other BSN. Oh yeah, so Dr. Johnny Wembry, who actually is a new member of BSN, but
Mm-hmm.
he got Motivational Speaker of the Year, and I was actually sitting at his table with Coriel. So it was just like a star-studded night. I absolutely, you know, tell Cheryl anytime that she is. What's going on, Pam?
Hey,
Yes,
Pam.
you were shouting out people that I was there too. You was like, I got a chance to meet Sean Fair. I
I'm
was
talking
like,
about award winners. Award winners.
yes, but we were all there together. He's from Detroit. I just want to say, when you say Detroit, you know I got to jump in. You be trying to take over. You know, y'all
Okay.
DMV people think that you all got it, but Detroit, you said Detroit. I'm like, yes, Detroit. So it was, Brian, you looked so nice that night. And your date, your lady was just amazing. I was like, okay. So wait a minute. He said, this is, it's and then I didn't see it no more. I was like, okay, well, where'd you go,
We
man?
were at table 6.
You were at table 6, but I'm talking about like, you know, I ain't even gonna say nothing, but you normally socialize with me a little bit more, but I was like, okay, I know
I
Miss
tell you
Miss.
this, I was super tired. Like because this was I think right after daylight savings or whatever, and so it's just what I was trying to tell Sierra because she's like, oh, I don't believe you're an introvert. Like this was my first event this year. For a
For
lot
the
of people
year.
it was, but for an
Right.
introvert, I was just by the time the reception was over, which is we sponsored the networking reception. So that's why I was really, just trying to meet as many people as possible. Like I was already like introverted out by the time, the dinner
So
was
so
over.
it went till midnight, and I was like mad. I was like, oh, that DJ was bumping. I was like, let's dance some more. I was like, where my dance partners at? I was
Pam
like,
Perry
okay.
has an elixir, okay, that just keeps her going
I was
constantly.
because I had been locked up as an extrovert, as being
Yes.
locked up for a year. It was
You and
like
I talked about that.
I was like,
Yes.
oh my God. I'm just excited. I was like,
Right.
I don't know
Right.
which way to go, but yeah,
Well,
it
well, you know
was
what? This is what we can
first
first
class.
class everything.
Um, when she did it in 2019, it was just outstanding. 2020, obviously, we were virtual. So 2021, it like went 1,000% up. Dr. Sherwood, I just want to say that you did the darn thing. I can't even imagine. And the logo in the floor, branding here, cover magazine set up there, the 360 round videos,
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, just the music, the DJ, the drummers. I mean, like, this had to be, I'm not kidding, I don't know, and probably played it at like $100 a person, had to be probably at least $150,000 event. $150,000 event. Yeah.
Well, I can say
If
this. I
not,
guess
maybe
the
200,000.
pandemic
I mean, it was just
didn't shut
amazing.
anything down, huh? People, the awards that Brian just ran off lets us know that these speakers, the pandemic didn't shut anything down. They were still working, still delivering their message, and still reaching out. You hear me? And I expect nothing less of Dr. Wood for that event. I'll be there next time.
The reason why there's a trilogy between Brian with Black Speakers Network, me with Speakers Magazine and Speaker Con is that we want to highlight, spotlight, and shine a light on Black speakers.
Yeah.
And a lot of them had never been recognized before, had even gotten the award. It's just beautiful crystal microphone. And some people said this is the first time I've ever been recognized. They have been doing it, been in the game for like 10, 20 years or whatever. And so if we don't do it for our own, I'm getting on my like civil rights bandwagon here, but if we don't do it for our own, who's going to do it? And so we had to step to the plate. And I was so full. I felt so, just seeing people getting the recognition that they deserve. And it's not because they're Black, but because they're excellent. And so it's excellent. And then they happen to be Black. And so Cheryl gave that platform to give all of them the award and the recognition, and they got to speak and people could see it and network. That's what it's really about. So Brian, what your vision is, my vision, all of us is just to uplift each other. And that's really, we lift as we climb. So that's really, really key. It was a party. Yeah, it was. It was a party with a purpose, right? Like Tom Jordan used to say,
it absolutely was.
Party with a purpose.
I did a post afterward about giving people their flowers while they're here. And that was mentioned a couple of times throughout the night. It is really important. And then a lot of times, as an entrepreneur, I even remember, to your point, Pam, the MC, Sean Yancey, I believe, she mentioned that she had worked for years. Now, this is an industry, like you're on television and, speakers. The thing about SpeakerCon is, we're bringing together multiple industries. So it's not just speakers, you have podcasters, you have media personalities, et cetera, professional communication or communication professionals from other industries. And so she was an anchor, like on air talent, and had never been formally recognized. Things like that. So I know the same was true of Shardell Moore, so it's just kind of interesting to see. We should, have more platforms. But the thing that I thought about as I kind of debriefed the entire weekend is that, as nice as SpeakerCon was, she could only recognize like 10 or 15 people, but we all kind of have our individual platforms, even if it's not $150,000 event. It could be, a kind note. It could be a voice note, which is what I'm starting to get into now with like WhatsApp and email. Like there's so many different type of ways that we could recognize individuals who are, putting in the work, but they may not necessarily be seeing the external fruit of their own labor. And so I just am a big advocate, to your point, Pam, of, recognizing, talent when you see it. But, SpeakerCon comes once a year, but we have 364 other days to continue to, pour into people, give them their flowers and make sure that they are there. And certainly, we could continue to do that. Just looking at Speakers Magazine, I know this session, we're going to be looking back at 2021. Pam, you created an incredible stage, absolutely incredible. Like all of these individuals who now are immortalized in print and digitally that, may have otherwise gone unnoticed. So I'm excited about that.
Yes. And I want to say congratulations to Sierra, because her first cover was actually November 2020. And so everyone knows what was going on in 2020, right? It was just like the pandemic and all of that. So her first cover was Jamie Foster Brown. Those of you all remember Jamie Foster Brown, Sister to Sister magazine. She's really a mentor to anyone who's in the magazine publishing industry. So Jamie Foster Brown was the first cover. And that was the one that Sierra did. And so I've known Sierra for a while, was kind of watching her and that sort of thing. I tell the story, Sierra. And I said, Sierra, I said, I'd love for you to interview Jamie Foster Brown. And she did. She jumps on Zoom with Jamie and her assistant, bless her heart, because she died of COVID. It was in the middle of COVID. And she was really like Jamie's ride or die. And so she jumps on Zoom with Jamie, does an interview. I'm kind of like in the other room and I'm listening. And she does a great job because it's hard for someone to interview an interviewer. Okay. So Jamie has interviewed the top celebrities from Beyonce to all the rappers. I can't think of any of them, right? So she's interviewed all of them. And so this is her first one that she's going to interview an interviewer, someone who's been in the magazine industry for like 30 years. And it's like, yeah, you're going to do it. So she did it. She did a great job. So afterwards, she says, oh, that was so good. Who's going to write the story? I'm like, you.
I tell you, Pam, but you're not telling the full story, Pam, because you know, Pam throws you off the ledge and you're like, okay, I'll go. But you know what? But that was such a fun interview, wasn't it? I mean, what an icon. It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure to be able to interview her. So when Pam, you know, said, hey, would you like to?
Kathy Hughes was on the back. Jamie was on the cover. So yeah.
I said, yes, I'll do it. I'll do it. But
oh my God. That was one of her first covers. So Jamie was a trailblazer, media icon.
Yes.
One of the ones that, like what you were saying, Brian, giving people their flowers while they're here so she could know how people love her. So then the second cover that she did was Becky, right? Becky was here in December of 2020. So she in a beautiful cover. Oh, I think this one, I love that red. Well, obviously I love red anyway, but it popped. And
it was perfect for December.
Yes, yeah. Perfect for December. Coca-Cola is one of her clients. So red and white was one of the ones. And so she did an excellent job with this one as well. Love this layout. Becky is just like the brand boss on this right here. Like that is just hot. And she does really things. So the people who are on the covers, they're doing things. So she did an event, she did a vision board party and that sort of thing. So I said, okay, Sierra, all right, she's doing a good
job. I had known Becky. Remember, I had known Becky. I had actually had the privilege of working with her when she started her business. Yeah, in Atlanta here. So, and Pam said, well, you sure you want to interview, someone you kind of know? And I was like, sure, I'll do it,
And you were very subjective, very objective, rather, not subjective.
When you're interviewing people, when you're interviewing people, are you interviewing them on video or are you interviewing them on a phone, or it just depends on the
video?
On video, okay. On video. And those that can't make it, of course, we still we do it. We catch the audio and transcript. Yeah.
So then January was like someone that she had never known, and this guy here, Dr. Will.
There we go.
Oh my God, he just blew her mind. After she finished interviewing him, she said, wow. I was like, yep, he was a January wow. He was our January wow for real. We always try to do a January issue. We got an exciting one coming up for December, January as well. But this one was a wow. So Dr. Will Moreland, he was the one that the challenge for Sierra is that when she does the interviews and she speaks with them, the challenge is only about 650 words max. 500 is ideal because we want to have it very picturesque, with the pictures. So you have to capture the story, but it has to be brief, and that's hard to do.
And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, because I actually I say 400, right? Because I saw that one article I did that didn't allow the pictures and the words got smaller. So I really focused on that. So I have to, with all their greatness, I have to concisely tell a brief story. And I tell you, that perfected my writing over the past year to be able to speak succinctly.
That has to be really hard, because I know like speakers in general struggle with kind of getting a message in within whatever time frame. And we always, I love how you kind of underestimate, because actually Del Toro said this the other night. He was like, hey, anytime he delivers, because he just spoke to the $1 million like roundtable, and they gave him 45 minutes. He was like, he planned for like between 35 and 40, because when you're like practicing yourself, you know, you don't have all the things. And then it was something like in a written word, I think it's the same thing. Pam is always asking me for articles for like 250 words, and I'm sitting at like 1,000. And I'm just like, oh, this is easy. It is not easy. It is much harder to put it in.
I think what helps too is having a journalistic background. So it allows me, and I think about, first of all, is everything true? And then is there a thread? Is there power in the sentence? Does it add to it? And if not, I go back, because my articles were long and I just have to go back and edit until I get it to the right number. Mm-hmm. But now this one,
okay, so Judge Leonya Lloyd, she's part of the Brand Accelerator program. So she's a judge, and after she got off with her, it was a conversation that, how long?
It lasted 4 hours, Brian. 4 hours.
Judge was holding court.
I said, Pam is going to kill me. That was the most amazing interview. I mean, I even cried during that interview. She was so emotional. She was so touching. She was so powerful. That has got to be one of the best experiences.
This was one of the best ones. She is amazing story. And 4 hours. I said, Judge was holding court. Okay. All right. She is holding court. And it's like, she's a storyteller, just a storyteller. And I was like, that was the hardest one out of all of them. That was the hardest one for you to succinctly put down in 4-hour interview into the center spread.
Yes.
I mean, it's like, oh my God. So she's an author. She wrote a book. Her book has gone on to win like 3 book awards. It's called Your Honor. She's a twin. And that one was a hard one. And that's our Black History Month issue, which is February.
It was perfect. May I just say this too, because she's a judge, right? And when you think about a judge, you think about the bench, you think about authority. You just have all these, these thoughts about a judge, your honor, your honor. Judge Leonya is such a servant though. Mm-hmm. You don't, she is nowhere, trying to be on that level. She is such a servant and serving others. And that's what was so powerful in her story, in her everyday life, in her journey. And, you could go back and talk about it, but that, she's just amazing.
Her and her twin sister were the first judges to ever sit on the court at the same time. So they made national news. They were in Ebony magazine. They were models. Before they were judges, they were entertainment lawyers. They did things with the Temptations and things like that. So
I mean, true history. She's going to go in history books. True history. Yeah. And we had the pleasure. I had the pleasure to interview her. We had the pleasure of honoring her in Speakers Magazine and elsewhere.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Then March comes around. We've got Women's History Month. And so we had the pink and green. She's a golden sword of AKA. So anyone who is an AKA knows what these colors mean, right? So she was the center.
They did before they do now.
Right. Yeah. She's a golden sword, meaning that they have been a sword for over 50 years. So do the math. So she's about 70 plus. Okay.
Powerhouse.
Yes. Gorgeous. Just like telling people how to live their best life. Just my client. There she was there as well. But yes, she was living her best life, and Sierra actually captured that story. So we could actually put all the photos in there and everything that talk about how the legacy, how living she comes up with the titles, living her legacy out loud. So I give Sierra full editorial control to do the interview, pick the title and all of that. And so it's really a challenge when she interviews them to really put the story so that it makes sense in a short amount. It's like someone who takes a book and makes a movie. It's like it's a whole book, but you can only do it in a script of so many scenes. So it's harder to do that. So
a lot harder. A lot of people be complaining that
they didn't put that part in. I was like, we don't want to see an 8-hour movie.
Right. Yeah. But this was a true powerhouse right here. Just hearing her, talk about her legacy. She talked about her parents. She even talked about the importance of community, as where a janitor used to talk to her and tell her things. And that's where we, that sense of community no longer exists. And I hope we restore it. But we were just talking about how important it is for community and families to really get back to the roots. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Dr. Geneva is such a powerhouse. Pam has amazing clients.
And
Oh yeah.
this is the guy. This is Rashad.
That was the latest interview of all time.
Oh yeah, this was Steve Harvey's manager at one point. So
Yes.
Rashawn is a media mogul in it of himself. Actually, one of our clients is going to be on the show, Money Making Conversation. So Rashawn McDonald, love him, so humble. Oh my God, Emmy Award winning, but one Great Star covers, and he was doing the darn thing. Like when I tell you, humble. He's a Renaissance man. He does all these pivots. I just love him. I just really do. He is the real deal. He's from Atlanta as well.
Let me tell you what was so interesting about his story is like Pam mentioned, that he worked with Steve Harvey. He helped Steve Harvey build his brand and everything. And he said he got to the point where he had to say, "Who am I without him?"
Yeah.
So So it made me think, the things that we go through life, all of us go through it, right? Who would think that this guy would be like, "Who am I? What do I do now?" But and because he had
so much to offer
in that industry, he was able to pivot and just recreate himself. That's why I call him the Renaissance man. But for him to even give thought to who am I without this person, that's pretty powerful. We all have that thought,
Yeah, because it could be very natural to like attach yourself to somebody. And I mean, I'm sure you see this, like Pam, you work with so many people that go on to just like, so, but like when you are somebody's like guy, like that was like Steve Harvey's guy. So like, he's doing movie deals, contracts, books, like he wasn't making a move unless he did.
Helped him with the Family Feud thing. Yeah.
Right.
Family Feud. We still got to talk about that, by the way. So yeah.
Right. I remember
that's on his bucket list to do that. To be the host, not be on it.
Can't do it forever.
That's right, Brian. Get in where you fit, and I'm behind you.
Listen, we got Detroit and we got Baltimore. Let's go.
All right. So this is DMV. This is TC Cooper. Love her. TC was on the cover for the month of May, and she is beautiful pictures. So tell us about this one. This is faith-based.
She has such a sweet soul, that is so attractive, so soft, and so endearing and welcoming and supportive and encouraging. And that's what, you can tell in her pictures. And even on her Instagram, it's just, everyone doesn't have to be loud when they speak to show power. TC is soft-spoken, but she is so powerful to me. And that's what I appreciate. And the fact that she's an attorney. She's an attorney. Okay.
Attorney. Ivy League schooled attorney. Yes. Very smart.
But still only wants to help. So she had to pivot. She had to find a way to keep helping those in need and not break, I guess, whatever laws as an attorney. So it was really, because you're only allowed to do so much. But that's why I said, if there's a will, there's a way, and she will find it, because she was determined to continue helping those in need.
I like this particular issue too, because this was May 2021, and a lot of the things at this point we started really understanding the importance of Black people really coming together. And I don't know if you see this one particular picture. It says say their names, and so all of 20 and through into 2021, and Ahmaud Arbery and all those different things. So this was a really issue. So one of the things, like, she's on the cover, but she was on the, like, this was the cover for April, and she's on the back cover for April. So all of them are the before they're the cover person, they're the back cover. And so the back cover is one of those things that showcase their program, their event. Obviously, we're having events, but their online program. So that's really, really key. But
Pam, I think you do a really good job with that. Like, I always appreciate reading this section here from the desk of the publisher, and you always do such a great job of interweaving, whatever is top of mind.
Right.
It's kind of like the social consciousness of the moment, and capturing that again very succinctly. Have no idea how y'all do that, but it's always good.
Tapping into the current events, but because you know what, that's just who Pam is. I mean, when she's when she says she really wants to help the community, she means that in all aspects, whether you're in the magazine or not. You know, she is going to do it, and she's going to bring it to the forefront.
Definitely want Black people to understand like why we're here, what our purpose is, and how we can help. And that's one of the things. So the month of June, it seems like another DMV person here. I don't know, like what's going on here.
Y'all just took over this year.
I know. I was like, so Renee was definitely on the cover here, and then she was the back cover as well for a particular month on this one as well. So kind of tell us about this interview.
Did we interview her?
We did. Yes, we did. And she was actually at the event. She was at an event when we interviewed her. Remember? Yes.
But she's in Las Vegas or something like that.
Oh, right. Right. She was with, was it a boxing or something?
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah. Right. It was something that was major. Dr. Renee was in the military. She served on behalf of the president on a medical team. That's how her journey, that's where her journey took her. Wow. But it didn't always start off that way. So I was very impressed with where she had been and her decision to pivot in the way in which she had been. But it still holds her to the core of who she is. And that's also serving, because imagine being called on by the president of the United States, to be on that team. That's a special selection.
Yes.
And really so being in the military like that, and it started off with her serving in the military. That's that's where she first became, the people's MC. That's where she first got started on the big time. Is she used to arrange events for the military families and for the military men. And that's how she got started in that capacity. Mm-hmm. But just, having served, on behalf of the president on the president's team was pretty interesting and pretty powerful, story there. So yeah,
it was a DMV issue. If you go back a couple of pages, Brian, you'll see some other DMV folks. There you go. So this person is in National Harbor, Mahogany Books. She was in there as well. And the lady there, she was Brianna Clark. She was born in Prince George County. So you have this whole little thing going on about that whole DMV area. And because actually, I think Renee was actually, this one too is also in Washington, D.C. attorney. So I was like, okay, we're doing themes here. So that's where kind of like the takeover issues really came about as well. And so it does, because you have like a theme with the magazine. And so it's always good to have like a theme with the magazine.
And that's one of the things I say, Pam, what's the theme for the month? Mm-hmm. And that kind of helps me shape the article too, but it's all a group effort.
It's kind of
so crazy, this is July. This is New York.
Oh, yeah.
And you remember Dr. Stacy. This is one of our favorites. She has always graced the cover every year with her event, Faithpreneur. And it is really a challenge. And this is a challenge for Sierra, because she has been a cover story a few times. This one as well. We actually did the photo shoot for this one as well. But it's hard to really keep recreating the story or telling more of the story when it's been on the cover a few times. So Sierra does a really good job to give it a new twist, a new flavor, a new spin,
a new perspective. One of my things as a writer is that I never want to repeat what someone has already written. Okay. So this one right here, I took it in a totally different direction. My thing is, by the time these people, are at this level in which they're Pam's clients and on the cover, everybody knows them anyway. So I'm not going to go back and tell you about her origin, because there's years of that. So I come in with the new story, and this one, she is just her presence. I mean, you ever just see someone and you feel like you've known them for years because they make you feel that comfortable. That's exactly who she is.
And she happens to be a Zeta.
I just want to keep giving kudos to the layout too. Like, this is something I'll be so proud to give to an executive or a client, or just kind of the living perpetuity between the cover and the cover story, the layout. Like, you got like really high quality images, which I know is one thing that you're very passionate about.
That's right.
So,
yes. Oh my God.
Let me just tell you one thing about Stacy real quick about this particular story that stood out is that she shared, and this may be known already too, but she was telling me about a time in which she was working on a job And she didn't get fired, but the gentleman said, "You don't deserve, to be here. You've done everything you could here. It is time for you to move on." And that was one of her defining moments.
Like,
She
not
had
fired, but time for you
right.
to
They
move
had
on.
recognized she was so talented that they did not want to hold her back.
Wow.
And
Oh,
that was
wow.
someone that she still, is in connection with to this day. But he saw how powerful she could be in other capacities. And I think that, really pushed
I
her
think
out
that's the
there.
only reason I made it to middle school. It was like, you know what? It's time for you to move on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think I was supposed to go. But yeah.
And Brian had an article in here, 5 things you must do before you quit your day job. Those are some of the things too that he talked about. That was
one of my
really
favorite
good
articles because
that was for me too, because a lot of speakers are really just confused about that. You did that. Talk about your journey too, Brian, in terms of
Yes.
that. Because it's always, when I met you, you were working somewhere, and then it took you didn't just like, hey, I got this Black Speakers Network, I'm gonna quit. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
How did you make that transition?
Oh, well, I was about to just go to lunch and never come back one day. But, what happened was I started Black Speakers Network in 2016. And so when you start anything from scratch, it's kind of like this building period. So, I feel like in 2016, we were an idea. We really didn't monetize it until 2017. And then it became a business. And then it evolves to also a community. And then, 2018 and 2019 being like cash flow positive, Pam, we connected, around that time. So it was like, be the beginning process of bringing in partners and leveraging content. And so by 2018, it was always my intention to transition at some point. I think everybody kind of has this grand idea of what that exactly is going to look like. And so, you talk to financial planners and they're like, hey, you got to have 3 months expenses in the bank. You should pay off all your debt. You got to get this and get that. And that is true, but there's also I wrote about this morning on Instagram. Like there's sometimes where you have to make decisions that are backed up by logic, but also that incorporate like intuition. And so I think there's a gut feeling of, even if it doesn't make sense on paper, or sometimes it may make a little bit of sense on paper, you got to fill the gap, which is where I was. When I left in April 2019, we probably should have been making twice as much money as a company for me to be like, I'm gone. But I also had, faith, and I knew that, hey, with the remainder of the time, that was also the year that Speak Up came out, which you're in, Pam, and I came to Detroit, accidental Uber ride to Canada, all that good stuff. So like it gave an opportunity to do other things. And so I think sometimes there are opportunity costs associated with not doing things, but it's harder to evaluate what that is because you haven't done it yet, versus you're getting a paycheck, which is a set amount every single week or every 2 weeks or something. So that was kind of my journey. But I think everybody kind of has their own exit path, and I don't really care what the formula is, but I think you just have to figure out what it actually means for you. And that's what these 5 things kind of go into, like knowing your numbers, go to therapy, which was huge for me because my therapist helped me contextualize a lot of the stuff. Like, when you live your life a whole one type of way, it could be hard to like make a transition, but prepare your family, prepare your employer, and then map out your new schedule. I mean, we could probably add like 20 more of these points, but these are the 5 things that, kind of stood out.
Let me ask you this. First of all, I think you're absolutely right. I think you want to be financially sound, but at the same time, when there's something burning in your soul, you really just have to go after it. And you may not be able to even explain to people, but Let me ask you, Brian, what was your greatest challenge though? What was your greatest challenge in transition?
Challenge leaving or after I leave, or
in transition from that workplace to gaining the courage to actually, build what you're building now?
I don't know. Like to me, because like again, the way that I did it, like I don't see it, because a lot of people kind of characterize it as like, I took the leap. And for me, I feel like taking the leap is like, hey, I don't have anything going on. I'm gonna just quit and then go start something new from scratch. BSN, by the time I left, BSN had been around for 4 years. We had been cash flow positive for 24 months. So it wasn't something where I was like, I mean, unless everybody just quit that next month and everybody stopped buying stuff, I didn't have so that wasn't a challenge. I think the biggest challenge was, similar to what Rashad, mentioned, you recapped earlier, Pam, was like, for so long, I had a big part of my self-identity connected to this company. I worked for the same company for 11 years. And so I'd driven on that parking lot over 5,000 times. And so it was something where, who is Brian outside of the company? And then also, who is Brian outside of BSN? Because, there's more than that's just that. So that's a part that I'm deconstructing now. So it's like that part, I think, is the part that, takes time, but you still got to grow the business. So, I think, that was the biggest thing. And I mean, it was other stuff like, I definitely did not navigate the health insurance part right. I was definitely on COBRA for like 21 days and dropped that. I had to wait for open enrollment. That was a whole thing that was not done correctly, but thankfully.
But did you have a coach during any of this time to help you? I know you had the therapist, but did you invest in any other type of advice or counsel or coaching or?
I'm not too big on. So what I did is lean on my network, and so like we have an amazing community even within BSN. So Constance Craig Mason, who y'all may know,
love her.
She's an insurance expert, so she helped me get health insurance throughout that process. And so it was different people that I was able to lean on to be like, yo, how do I do this? And
that's a good question, because that's what Becky says she did when she made that transition, right? She had a coach to really help her, take that leap, which I think it is a leap, because I think it takes absolute courage to do that.
Yeah, my first 5 years in business, I started in 2000. I coined what I would say. I knew what I knew in terms of doing PR and publicity. I didn't know business. So the first 5 years, I was on a struggle bus. I did not know what the hell I was doing. It wasn't until I got a coach that things really turned around, a business coach that helped me run a business like a business, not doing the work. It was like I created a job for myself. And I was like, and then I've created a job for myself. I'm not paying myself. And I mean, it was just crazy. So it wasn't until like 2004 and 5 that I really decided, and I got my first coach, and he really set me on a path worked with him for about a year to really just, do the business like a business. And I've had different coaches, and Kadina's a coach. I've always had coaches that dealt with the profitability, the numbers, the revenue strategy, because I'm a creative. So I'm doing with words. So that part was, I don't have an MBA. So that part, I needed someone to really fill in the gap for me, because I didn't know how to price things. I didn't know any of that stuff. So, so if you don't know something, you should ask. That's the bottom line right there. That's it. Don't try to Google your way. Okay. That ain't gonna work.
YouTube University. Right.
You confused. Right. So then the month of August is one of the branding accelerators, Letitia Nicole, who is a powerhouse. Oh my God. This woman, when I tell you, tell her about the title that you gave this and why you gave it this title. It's manifesting.
Yes, manifesting. What does it say? Manifesting the
abundance of your life.
Abundance of life. Okay, so Speak Life is her program, right? Speak Life. She shared, and I think I shared this before, what everyone, the thing is all of us have this journey, and we have these, tragedies happen in our life. And she said that she was actually given thought to deciding if she wanted to be here or not. And her cat, what was her cat name? Dora. It was her cat named Dora came, and it was at that time that
distracted her.
Right. Distracted her. And she spoke. She said the first person she had to speak life into was herself. Was herself. So when I said that I have been at the feet of these people, hearing their stories and hearing their journeys, it's done nothing but empower me, right? Because we all think at some time that we think we're going through this alone. And we look at these people, we think that everything is amazing. And it is, right? But imagine what they went through to get there.
Oh, yes.
And if it wasn't for the distraction of that cat, she said that was the first person she had to speak life into was herself. And now she does it for other women.
Thousands. Yeah,
thousands.
her Clubhouse is growing. Her Speak Life Network. She even started Speak Life magazine.
And she's a nurse. She's a nurse. Let's not forget
products. Right. Oh, she's got journals. She's got books. I mean, she spoke for BSN for your
that's what I was gonna say. She's a product expert, as you mentioned. So we brought her in specifically last month to talk about creating physical products. Absolutely crushed it. I know we had some folks who enrolled on our program. Like she is. I have no idea how she has the energy to do all of this.
And she's working on a PhD.
Right.
All the same time. And has 2 sons.
She's a nurse that trains other nurses. I mean, these people's schedules are not light at all. She stays busy too. But
and she does cute TikToks and reels. I'm like, how you figure all that out? In the middle, working on the PhD, doing products, raising 2 sons, got a family, cat. What? And also doing
she's a mentor for teens. That's one of the things she does too. She pour back into teens. She tries to get them early. She tries to get them early.
Girls are her passion.
Yeah.
It really is.
So, like I said, Pam has amazing clients. I just benefit from them. Well, everyone knows Rodney. Yes.
Speaking of TikTok, I was gonna say. Speaking of TikTok, he just jumped on.
He did.
Yeah. He's
on TikTok. My goodness. Okay. So Rodney was also in the Brand Accelerator program, a graduate, a road to becoming a different and better Rodney C. Burris.
The road to become different. Yeah, that's his program. And if you know his full story, you would put him as a statistic. And he'll be the first to tell you that. But what I liked about Rodney was his actual becoming, his moment of understanding, his aha moment. And that's when he said that, he was speaking just as a hobby. He said, I got to generate some income. Let me go out here and keep speaking. And he had not known his power at this time. And he had gone and was speaking at a school. And there was a student that had come up to him. And this student that had a language barrier, she was very shy and she was just crying. And she told him that because of what he said, she now felt as though she had a future.
Yes.
And he said that's when he decided to take what he was doing seriously.
And make an impact.
Right, because he realized the impact that he was making on people just by accident. He said, but what if I did this deliberately? And now this guy has books after book in corporate settings, as well as his own tribe. So he's going after now a group of men and everything else, but he really wants to talk about leadership and development for Black men in their community.
Yeah, Rodney's the man. He's here with me in Baltimore. We connected about a year and a half ago. Great BSM member. He is an individual who is just like so passionate, so focused. His leadership expertise is like off the chain. I'm gonna go back and I think this cover, and you could kind of see, we were talking about the branding accelerator that's in here and the work that you've done, Pam, and working with people individually.
I love that cover.
It is just like crispy, like you're really investing into people and helping them take their game to the next level.
About this cover, I think it really portrays his personality. It really portrays it captures his personality very much so.
He definitely got an album dropping.
Looking like one of the heartbeats.
He's definitely a superstar. That's why the lights are in the back there.
But this particular issue was the Rodney C. Burris, and then on the inside, you also knew that we were seeding SpeakerCon, and then on the back, we were also talking about Higher Gear. So this was September, and then October. Delatorre is on the cover, right? So it's on the cover, and this is what they call the takeover issue. And Brian, you've done one before where everyone who's in his program, Crush the Stage, they are in this particular issue. So Delatorre, this was the one Sierra said that is such a great shot of him, because we had to put it together like that because she gave the title and then the designer designs the piece,
right? And so to your point, Brian, whatever title's given, I don't know how they magically bring it to life visually, but they do.
Yeah, you've got to give us a story first before we can do the interior.
Right.
Now, this was at the $1 million roundtable. So this was his he just spoke again this past week
3 times
for the third
Yeah.
time. And this is one of the largest stages you can be on as a speaker. But Pam, I love what you did here with embedding like our interview. And that's why, like, I think I'm gonna pop it up again, you know, for the people that are kind of thinking about what it takes to get into Speakers Magazine. It's like, hey, you know, this lives forever, you know, and so being able to, you know, we have digital content. We're in a digital world now. Like, I just bought my first NFT yesterday. Like, the thing. Yeah, we're in a we have entire worlds. Like, look what Facebook is doing. Like, you know, this isn't happening by accident. Pam, your digital footprint for Speakers Magazine, you know, it's definitely cool to get the printed issue. Like, it goes a long way. There's so many things you can do with the printed copy, but the digital part lives forever. And so this is the reason why I'm so excited for anytime folks are featured, because if you Google your name, like, this is coming up.
That comes up. It is. And that's why I really tell people, I said, make sure that your brand is what people think about you. And so think about you based on the impressions that you share, not just on your platform, but on other people's platforms. So that's really the whole important part. I mean, we can post on Facebook and Instagram all day about ourselves, but it really matters when there's another voice that's amplifying your message. So that's why it's really, really important. And so then that takes us to the 1-year anniversary for November, which Sierra did this one, Dr. Cheryl Wood, which was all over the place at the gala. Oh,
yes.
I wish you could have saw. It was just, she has such a nice event, and the magazines were everywhere. They were floating everywhere. And that is her. She was looking fabulous, like a superstar. Oh my God. Just transformation. Just love this. The whole thing about Dr. Cheryl Wood is empowerment and really giving voice to other speakers. But she gave it the title "I Belong Here," which is also a song as well that I think I showed on TikTok about her thing. But give us why you said about the "I Belong Here."
Right. So in hearing her story again, this is someone that's very well known. Everyone knows her start, and I did not want to tell that story at all. So I asked questions to try to get something else out of her. But I Belong Here is because I had asked her a question in her journey, and she's on stages with the Les Browns. She's, you know, Dr. George Fraser. She's just on major stages. And I said, did you ever feel as if, intimidated or anything? And she said, no. She said, not at all. She said she had put in the work. She said, I put in that work. And she felt she belonged here. But the confirmation came from the audiences, right? It wasn't of course she fed from Les Browns and all these major speakers, but when she would get off the stage and someone would come to her and tell her how they impacted her, would bring tears to her eyes. She did that at SpeakerCon. When they start thanking her. It's just so emotional for her that I thought that was pretty powerful. And when I asked her what was the best stage you've been on, you're thinking, because Pam has said she's spoken in Paris, she's been places, and the best one was right here in where is it?
South Africa.
And speaking with those young girls, and the ability to positively impact them was the most meaningful stage she has ever been on. And that was a contribution. That wasn't a paid gig. So the value and the meaning of these stages, these speakers, they have to get paid, and they do get paid, but it's all about how they're able to impact people. And that's what was very moving and loving about Dr. Cheryl Wood. The fact that she wants all of us to be able to live up to our potential is what makes her, a star.
Yeah, imagine, speaking in South Africa in a stage of young women and may have never seen a Black woman at that caliber, speak the way that she do. Like, that leaves an impression for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So I could absolutely see why she does that. I think, anytime that you pick up the mantle and you're like, yes, I'm going to be a speaker, a couple things happen. Yes, you're sharing your knowledge and your experience, and yes, you may have things that you are essentially like an expert in, but there's an opportunity to create legacy there. And I think with somebody like Cheryl, like I always wonder, because I don't put myself on the same kind of caliber as you know Dr. Cheryl Wood, Delator McNeil, from the perspective of, or Quinn Conyer, just from like these individuals. It's like when they get on stage, they are kind of almost tapping into like a spiritual like gift type of thing. And it's like they belong. It is like boom. And so I think that for individuals that aspire to be like that level of speaker, it is something that, yeah, you absolutely are doing like ministry work essentially through the power of your voice and your story and your impact. You just never know who all those people will go out and into the world and do as a result of hearing you speak and seeing you, because representation matters a lot as well with this. So absolutely powerful piece.
With her, it was a very deliberate effort to not look back, but to look forward, because I wanted her to, I remember her telling me that she had a talk, a signature talk that she gave for 3 years. She said, I couldn't talk about this. She said, I couldn't tell them about how to be successful at a business because I wasn't, but I could talk to them about fear, about overcoming fear. She said she ran that signature talk for 3 years. So with her
doing this for 12 years. So this is not like like you were saying, you didn't go full time until after 4 years of, being an idea. She 12 years into this point where she's at the stride where she can do that. And this is a particular takeover issue as well. So she's helping women vocalize their own voice as well. Yeah. And so the thing about it is that not only was she just doing it for herself, but she was lifting other people as she climbed. And so that's really, really the key to vocalize. And you were saying, Brian, you said, okay, people like Cheryl or Quinn or, people that are on stage and they come alive. They're like a fish in the water when they're on stage. And then there's some people that want to share their knowledge and expertise, but they have to really practice in order to deliver it. For someone like a Cheryl, she still gets nervous, but it's
natural.
It's a natural gift. Like you said, it is a gifting for them to open up their mouth and to really electrify a stage, like a Rodney or a Delator. It's a different type of thing. They still practice, but it's just a different kind of way. But they have this way about themselves where, because it is a natural gift, even like Precious. The pitch person. She definitely, because you have it, you can teach other people that speaking gift or how to give them the courage to speak like that. And so she helps all of the women in this issue vocalize, find their voice, not to sound like Dr. Sherwood, but to sound like themselves and to really encourage that. That's that gift that they have, not just to on the stage, but also to help other people as well. And I also want to say congratulations, Brian. It reminded me when you said, I don't think Dr. Brian Olds.
Dr. Brian Olds?
November 20th. We are doing this together.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Perry. It's like we can like tip our hat to each other.
Yes, congratulations.
Yes. Black and gold Perry. Oh my God. When I got my thing in the mail, I was like, oh my God, this is real.
What a journey you guys have been on.
Yes. We are like brother and sister on this thing, man. It was like so cool. So thank you for.
We have quite a few people from. There's some folks from my just like personal circle. Let me see if I can find the picture. But there's some folks from my personal circle, like Keandra and Sean and certainly Leroy McKenzie, that are getting that, and so. It is a cool thing to be recognized alongside. It's a cool thing to be recognized.
Yeah.
But it's a cool thing to be recognized. Like alongside I feel like we're going into like graduation.
Yes.
Yes. So that's
well, I will be watching the celebration on the 20th, right? Because it's going to be filmed. I saw a post, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'll be virtual.
Virtual. So I'll definitely be there. You guys know it.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, it's gonna be great. Oh, here it is. I'm gonna pull up the photo in a second. But yeah, it's super cool, and I think in general, like we have. So here
I
it is.
had noticed you were in that picture, Brian. I think I saw that the other day, and I was like, Brian's in there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
right there in the
so
center.
Yeah.
Pam, Deandra, Leroy, Sean, like yeah, there's so many great
And
people.
Crystal's been in Speakers Magazine. That's the lady with the blue with the white shirt there. Crystal Walker, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yep.
she's been in there. A lot of them have been in Speakers Magazine before. So thank
And
you,
is
Dr.
that, I
Bill
think his name
Moreland.
is Fred. Is his name Fred, the gentleman next to you, Brian?
This is Leroy.
The
And
other
then,
side.
yeah, Fred.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also wanted to shout. So I know we had a few BSM members who were in this issue. Michelle Thomas, she was actually a sponsor as well of SpeakerCon. She has been for those of us like in the VIP. You got these really cool kind of like gift bags,
Oh,
and
yeah.
she put in like this really nice pen set. So that was coming from her team. Angela.
Mm-hmm.
Angela Brand is a BSM member as well. I see we have Barbara Beckley.
I think she's on the line too. I think I saw her over there. She's in a Facebook group over there.
Okay. So we got Barbara in the building. And so, like you said, as it relates to, and so these are people who are also, since it's a takeover issue, these are all from Cheryl's vocalized community
Yes,
as well. Right?
exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Some
so
of
that
them were in
kind
her
of
books as well. Yep.
perfect. Yep. So that just kind of speaks to that connectivity that you were talking about before, how our brands like intersect. And it's like,
Community. Yeah. Intersections. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And again,
Mm-hmm.
another beautiful issue, nicely laid out. I'm just astonished at how you're able to like it's not like you put out an issue, take a month off, put out an issue, take a month off. Like
No, we're working on December right now.
Right. Consistently, like clockwork.
Yes.
And it's not easy at all. I really commend her. I hear people, I want to start a magazine. I used to think I wanted to start a magazine. I used to think that. Now I'm just part of a fabulous magazine. You hear me?
It's more than a notion. It's a calling. It really has to be. But this is actually my third magazine that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first two were like the practice, and this one seems to stick. So
everybody thinks they want to do something until they realize
the work that goes into it, right?
You gotta be consistent. You have to be consistent. Thank you.
I mean, Mark and Pam are the publishers, but I plan on writing this magazine into, like I keep saying, it's like the Jet magazine for speakers. Mm-hmm. That's how iconic.
Yes.
That's how iconic I feel it's going to be.
It is. I'm really, really proud of this issue. It is so. Dr. Sherwood is actually speaking in ATL probably right now.
Right now she is. That's the only reason why she's not here, people. She is on the stage as we speak
in ATL. So, but she will be back. She said that she could do another time and share with us, and maybe we can bring on some of her the ladies as well, to speak with us as well. So that
we'll figure it out. We got Pam is not Pam, Dr. Cheryl Wood is, it's certain people that are kind of, and you actually are too, Pam, but when I think about you, Pam, Dr. Will Moreland, Della Toro, like you're essentially like BSN faculty. So it's like, there's always, an opportunity to
we've been around. And Dr. Stacy NC Grant, she loves pouring into your group as well. So it's a group, and I see Diane and Tanel and Dr. Cynthia Hickman. A lot of them, like you said, some of them have been in the Ready, Set, Go Speak program. Some of them Branding Accelerators. Some of them definitely BSM members, Vocalize. But we're all in it together. That's the main thing. You get in, you fit in where you get in, or get in where you can fit in. That's like the main thing. And I always say those that show up go up. So
I was waiting for you to say that. That's right. You know that you were saying those who show up.
You gotta just show up. I was like, I talked to somebody today and I said, you really need to be on this Dr. Cindy Trim thing. This thing is hot. It's hopping. It's like, I'm in the grocery store. I'm like, boo, but the groceries can wait. This can't, but you just got to do what you got to do. But I'm telling you, when opportunities open up, jump in. You just never know. Pick up the phone, call, send the email, hit the button, do whatever you have to do. Don't wait. If you wait, you're going to miss the opportunity. So if you can dream it, do it. It's in your heart. You got the unction, do it. Feel the fear and do it anyway. I always say that. Just do it. And really, like you were saying about the gut, you wrote it on Instagram, Brian. It's that intuition. It's like, why are you always second guessing yourself? Just do it. No one's going to do it for you. Your dream is your dream. No one's going to dream it for you. You got to do it yourself. So I always tell people, I said, do the thing. Step out there. Get out there and get known.
Get out there and get known. That's right. That's right. Listen, Pam has this uncanny ability to really be able to detect the talent in people and really set them on a path that will really help them achieve what they want to achieve. And Pam, I just want to say thank you again. I do not take any of this for granted.
Thank you for
pulling me
from beginning to end. Like
look, and allowing me, allowing me to actually be part of magazine. And Brian, I thank you too for bringing me into this circle as well.
Yeah.
Happy 1 year anniversary. Many more issues to come. And speaking of issues, I want to make sure everyone knows they can go to speakersmagazine.net. Speakersmagazine.net is the home for Speakers Magazine, the official magazine of Black Speakers Network. And you can check out any of the past issues that we just looked at. It's literally all right here.
They're all there. You can download them. Yeah.
You can go check it out, download them. And
there is so much information on this one site. There is so much information in each issue on building your brand, empowering yourself. It's all there.
And if you want to be featured, because obviously we have, we're going into 2022. So speakersmagazine.net/advertorial. If you are wanting to have your face, your brand, your message represented, then that's what you do. So make sure that you go there, and we will make sure that all the information is there on that page. You can apply and learn all the details you need in order to get featured. But yeah, that is that. I know we're back next month for our final issue of the year in December, and then we are ready to watch.
And as a matter of fact, I think it's going to be on the 4th of December this time, the first Saturday, instead of the second Saturday.
Yeah, so I'll see y'all in like 2 weeks. I don't know why November's doing like 75 and like a 50. Like, I don't know why it's so fast.
Thank you, Diane.
It'll be here before we know it. But yes, thank you so much, everyone. Again, Black Speakers Network, super excited. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Sierra, and thanks to everyone that continues to support this great community. And so we'll see y'all next month. As we always say, keep speaking up because your audience awaits. And we'll see you next time on stage. Take care.
All righty. Thank you. Thank you, Sierra. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Pam.
Have a good one. All right. Bye-bye.